a couple of thoughts I have on the last episode that we did a couple weeks ago, episode 1. I wanted to just again reiterate the why we did that episode. It's never, ever appropriate to silence anyone, especially publicly. And that is what I feel happened to Chrissy and to Salwa. They were publicly silenced. Now, I understand we have disagreements. We don't all see things the same way, especially on the same topics, similar or subjects that are the same. We're not going to always agree, but I felt that they were not treated fairly and their side of the story needed to be heard. They weren't given the chance. They had reached out to all those podcasters, and none have responded and given them a chance to have conversation. And really, guys, this is what it's about. If we can't have healthy conversation and discuss our differences, we're going to end up continuing to harm each other. So that was the biggest reason why I did that episode, and I hope that's what you heard throughout everything. I know there was a lot of information, there was a lot of backstory, there was a lot of explanation of what was going on, and sometimes the why can get lost. So I really wanted to emphasize that. Also, I want to emphasize that there is a point to a situation like that where we have to choose to move on. We cannot force people to come to the table. And that is the other element to it, that we invited them to the table. We invited everyone that we talked about to come to the table. Let's have conversation and let's do better. Let's just treat each other better and have conversation. None of those podcasters have reached out to me. And as far as I know, as of today, they've not reached out to Chrissy or Salwa to try and just have more conversation and decide how we can do better and be a better support in this space and in this community for survivors. So because of that, some have actually said that they're not interested in having a conversation. And if that's the case, then we need to move on. We need to wipe the sand from our sandals and move on. We've given the opportunity and our voices have now been heard, and that's all we can do. So I'm looking forward to just continuing on, and I hope that those who were harmed by these podcasters will find different spaces for support, because that's what's needed at this time. Okay? So also in this episode, this little short clip here I want to do is talk a little bit, start the conversation about what trauma-informed means. And this is why I feel like we're not talking enough about that, and that's why these podcasters are harming more people, is because I don't believe that they are as trauma-informed as they should be, if at all. So this will be the beginning of the conversation. I want to really expound on this and just bring this to this channel and help as many people as I can understand what it means to be trauma-informed and what it looks like. So to start the conversation today, what I want to focus on is the fact that when you are trauma-informed, you approach conversations with survivors and victims from the mindset that it's not about you at all. It is 100% about the survivor and the victim in that conversation. And that's not always an easy thing to do. When we approach conversations, we usually look for the two-way, right? And we think about what we can offer. We think about thoughts that we can bring to the table, insights, and none of that's bad. But when it comes to interviewing a survivor, allowing a moment for a survivor to share what they're going through because of the abuse and trauma that they've suffered. In those moments, our opinions, our ideas, our uncomfortableness has to be put aside. We have to look at and think about what is it that they're sharing and what is it they are looking for from us in the moment. So when a survivor is sharing their story with you, and maybe they're going into details of what happened to them, it is so inappropriate to ask them to share more details than what they've already shared. That's just one example of someone who is not trauma informed. We never, ever, ever ask them to go into deeper detail. We honor whatever it is that they are sharing in the moment. We be present for that moment, and we ask them, what is it that I can give you right now to support you? It's not wrong to be curious, never wrong to be curious. And in fact, you can ask them, wow, I'm really curious about that. Can you tell me more? That's okay. And if they end up telling you more, they end up telling you more, but they may not. They may say, no, that's really all I can share right now. That's really all I'm able to at this moment. So what we're doing in this moment is really honoring the survivor and their story. And that's the bottom line. That should always be the focus and the goal when we're talking to survivors. So not only in the moment does that honor them and prevent more harm being done, but it also, if it's a podcaster, it also helps your listeners to be able to engage with you in supporting in that moment that survivor. If you're asking for details and you're asking for more information than what the survivor is willing or able to give in the moment, you could be triggering so many other people listening to this story and causing so much more harm that you never even imagined. And I understand this is not intentional. I understand up to this point, I think just a lot of us have not been taught and educated on this. So again, like I said, today I just wanted to start this conversation and throw this out there. Let's think on this. I'll be talking so much more about this, as well as other elements that are a part of being trauma informed. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. And like and subscribe, and let's continue to have conversation about what it means to be trauma informed and what it means to really be a healthy support community for survivors and victims of abuse and trauma.